Yeah, Finger Lake State Park. Let's start with this. Check it out. You know that little entrance gate right there. This area is hiking and mountain biking only. So if you ever see a motorized vehicle in here, somebody needs to be contacted about getting them out of there or out of here. From what I understand, there's a guardrail pretty much all the way around this or something of another that keeps people out of it with the motorized vehicles. And then here you go. See, this trail is blazed in red. And then we got this sign over here that tells you about all the on this trail you may experience. What they've left out on this sign is like wicked awesome fun when you're riding one of these. Yeah, all right. So anyways, let's go on, shall we? Darn near right away, you're going to experience the first of two creek crossings here. Right now it's pretty wet, spring. We've recently got some rain. There are times when this thing's completely dry. So, but all small rocks, you can typically blast right through it. Look at that scenery right there, man. Ooh, gosh. I'm like a regular Andrew Adams when it comes to photography. Andrew Ansel, Adams Andrew. I don't know art. Anyways, yeah, first water crossing. Dig. Let's talk for a minute about Finger Lakes. If you've been out here, you know. If you haven't, this is something you're going to find out. It's punchy. There's some real punchy hills here and there, almost too punchy in some cases, but if you watch the video, I've done all of this on a single speed and went up every hill, so it can be done. But let's do a quick walk for an example. I mean, this is early on right here on the little north loop where you go from the water crossing that we talked about to the new section. Is the real punchy. Everything winds up and around here. Some of it's pretty steep but it's never steep for long, and it's windy with some blind curves too. And if you live in Columbia, or if you grew up around Columbia and you've been out here, Finger Lakes, Rocky Fork, then you know that these used to be strip pits, strip mines, and that's why the terrain is so unusual. And then part of the reason why these trails wound up the way they are is because of motorcycles just like that, and ATVs. Before this area was closed off to those vehicles, these trails were largely established by 2-, 3-, and 4-wheeled conveyances with internal combustion engines, where these hills were just a small twist of the wrist away from getting to the top. So there you go, a little history lesson. Peabody Coal, I think. There's Peabody Road out here still. So there you go. Let's listen to the sweet, sweet sound of motorbikes for just a second, shall we? Throaty, 4-stroke. Nice. And there are places where the motorized vehicles come close to these trails. So don't worry about that unless you see some knucklehead on these trails with a motorcycle or an ATV, at which point the proper authorities need to be involved. Look, you can see the parking lot. All right, let's move on, shall we? All right, this part of the trail, we finished that punchy north section, which is really fairly short. And when you come down, see that trail yonder there? I know you do. You come down the hill, make this big sweeping right, kind of a little, that was terrible camera work. Hold on. Big sweeping right, and then come through here with kind of a left. And then now it's become a lot more obvious that there is a trail to the right here. 2 years ago when we first opened this up, it was hard to tell, but you want to take a right here. Look at that, right at the sign on the tree that says number 1. Just before that is where you want to turn right. And the way you know you've made the right turn, or the correct turn, is rather quickly after you turn right, you're going to come to a spot where you're going to want to take the sharp left. Otherwise, you're just going to pop out in the clearing there where that shelter is, which is a nice place to rest and hang. There's a fire pit and stuff, but you want to follow these babies, and also, like we said at the beginning, blaze in red. See, yep, see my bike again. There you go. So yeah, turn into what is called the new section. I guess you would call it the west side, that kind of parallels just across the creek from the original trails at Finger Lakes. So let's go on, shall we? It's a beautiful day. New section. All right, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk to you folks about CMOTA, Columbia Missouri Trail Association. It is a non-profit that we started, I'm going to say like 5 or so years ago, specifically to promote the care and feeding of single track in our area and the growth of it, hopefully with new trails put in. and that's being accomplished in a lot of ways. There are officers, there's a board, you can be a member. There are more and more frequent opportunities to come out and volunteer on trail days, whether that's bench cutting like what you're looking at right here on the new part of Finger Lakes, or fixing drainage issues, clearing honeysuckle. All kinds of things can come to be volunteer work for Komoda, and you only have to come one time. If you can't make it regularly, don't feel bad. Anytime you can come out and help means you pitched in, and that's fantastic. There's also a lot of fundraising efforts and grassroots contact with people in the community and the city and the county and parks to continue to make our presence known and make mountain biking and trail running, have it out in front of the people who make decisions about that kind of stuff. Right here, this whole section I've been walking during this brief little talk is the news section on Finger Lakes, and this went in fast and furious with the help of volunteer trail days put on by Komoda. So it cannot be underestimated, the value of the organization for us mountain bikers and for trail runners alike. And yeah, I picked this section because right here on this corner where the tree is, one day when it was really dang cold, I came out here and basically did this corner. So I'm real proud. It rides good, but everybody's help and pitching in matters, and is something that can the more people we have and the more people that show up, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease when it comes to things like city council meetings. Anytime we're in contact with the public asking for money or just permission to build trails, or looking into acquiring land or putting trails on land that's already there but have never had trails there, I could go on and on, as you could tell. So let's continue riding, and I'll stop at a couple more of the notable spots at Finger Lakes. And with any luck, and I don't know, 17 to 100 hours with my editing software, because that stuff is not easy, I'll have a nice video out for you guys to check out Finger Lakes. Oh, excuse me. Hello. Thank you. I am not a professional, so I'm just riding along, videoing these segments. Therefore the breath. Anyways, here we go. Just past the 2-mile marker. Whoa, I'm close. Just past the 2-mile marker on the new part is where you're going to merge back in with the original trails. And here's kind of what that looks like. You can see obviously over there the old trail coming in. New trail, you're going to veer to the right. Let me just walk down here for you. And that's when you encounter the second creek crossing. This one's a little bit, I don't want to say it's treacherous, but you can see right here you got some cobbly baby head kind of stuff leading into it, although to the right is a fairly smooth trail. And then there's a couple ways you could enter it here, and you can see that there's sort of a more clear pathway through the water up the middle. This one might jostle you around a little bit more than the one early in the lap. However, I will say that this is one of those deals where if you have the confidence and skills, momentum is your friend. If you can go through this thing as fast as you dare, it's actually fairly quick and easy. So yeah. And then right up across the water there, over there, you can see where some trail comes in from the pump track. Is just right over there. So we're close to the parking lot. We're just coming back to meet up with the other trails, but we're gonna want to go straight here or forward. Unless you're ready to bail, in which case you can take a left and your car is right there. So, yep, this is the second creek crossing. You have completed the new section, and we're about to begin to link back up with the original trails. Awesome. This expanded metal skinny brought to you by Komoda. Sometimes this particular area is a little smooshy, and you can take the skinny to keep up off of the trail. Also, at this point you are approaching from the new section, rejoining the old trails, approaching a turn that you need to make to continue on and go all the way south on the east/old loop. Yeah, so you pass the skinny, a couple turns, and then there's a Y fork in the road. Why not? Right here, you're going to want to go right to go south and do the next roughly 2 miles or so, and then we'll talk at the next feature or turn worth mentioning. Komoda. After you make the turn into the old section, this trail is blazed in yellow. All right, folks, when you're out here by this giant eroded channel, which is the southernmost point of the old section, you can't see it from where I'm standing now, but the next thing, 30 yards up the trail, is a punchy hill, so have your gears ready and see if I can get up and on the old single speed. Yep. Hey, okay. Furthest south point on the original trails, as you climb a little hill, you will see this massive erosion and the deconstructed bench because it was going to fall in. Used to be kind of on the edge a few years ago. That trail goes nowhere. This trail makes a left, and in the video I mentioned how very soon after this you experience we go through kind of a section with a bunch of punchy climbing that is the result of that previous motorized vehicle use. So yeah, we're all the way south, still blazed in yellow, headed back north now, and you know, bunch of punchy little climbs on this part, but nothing you can't handle. And it's one of those things where the more you come out here, the more you learn it, the more you know where they're at, and you can engage the correct gear or the correct amount of leg to get up and around and handle the changes. It's a lot of fun, I'm telling you, once you know it. So onward. Not this. Bug on my glasses.